Hey friends, welcome back to my channel Organized with Joy, and welcome to another Thoughtful Thursday video. In today's video, I want to talk about being positive and complaining less in life. So I truly believe that complaining less and being more positive in life is a secret key to having a good attitude and to just being overall happy in life. I think a lot of people get stuck in patterns of complaining and patterns of negative thoughts that keep cropping up. And I know it's not easy necessarily to break free from those thoughts and those patterns, but I do believe it is possible. Now, I am not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist, so certainly, make sure you are turning to those resources if you need something more than just a pep talk about being positive and just trying to focus on the positive and not complaining as much. But I will say, from what little research I've done on my own, I know that our brains create pathways. It's a scientific fact that when you focus on positive things, then your brain creates pathways that it makes it easier to focus on positive things. But if you're focusing on negative things, then your brain will make that pathway, and then it'll be easier for your brain to focus on negative things. I've heard it once described as kind of like roadways in your brain. And if you think about a highway, and that is the path of least resistance, it is cut in stone, it is easy, you just zoom down that highway, and that is typically the thought patterns that you have ordinarily. And it's not impossible to break those off and to take a detour, to take a different route. And if you do take a different route, then that route will eventually over time become the path of least resistance. At first, it is very difficult to take the alternative path, but eventually that path that you don't take, even if it's kind of a highway in your brain, will eventually just close down and get cobwebs and dirt, and you won't be able to go down that path quite as easily as you once used to. Like I mentioned, I think oftentimes people just get stuck in habits of complaining or of being negative. And if you really stop and think about it, there's really not anything good that comes from complaining. I think, like I said, it's kind of something that is natural, that you just do off the cuff, but there's really nothing good that comes from complaining. It doesn't change your circumstances. It doesn't change, the other person if you're upset with the other person. It honestly is not very attractive when someone is complaining. Now, I understand that sometimes you have a negative experience or you have a frustrating experience that you need to process through verbally, and sometimes there are situations where you need to do that. Call it venting, call it verbally processing, whatever you want to call it. But I would say definitely don't let that be your go-to, and have a very small group of people who you trust, who you can talk through things that are difficult or relationships that are hard, instead of just complaining to anybody and everybody who will listen to you. The first step in making any change in life is recognizing that you need to make the change. So recognizing that you're complaining might be the first step, and then when you are talking, when you do end up complaining, be cognizant of that and then choose to stop. Instead of continuing forward with the complaint, notice that you're complaining and then choose to stop. Maybe instead of complaining about a circumstance, a situation, or a person, you could take some time to sit down and journal about it. Sometimes we do just need to get our thoughts and feelings and emotions just out so that we can better deal with it and better move forward. So sometimes just journaling is a good way to get those thoughts and feelings out. Like I mentioned, you could also talk to a trusted friend. It would be good to choose a friend who is very down to earth, who is logical, and who can maybe help you see a subjective side of the situation or the circumstance, instead of choosing someone who is just going to feed your frustration and your irritation about the situation or the person. You could also just stop and take a few deep breaths. Maybe this looks like praying for you, or if you're not someone who prays, maybe meditate, maybe focus on some sort of positive mantra, or doing something that will shift your focus away from the negativity and towards positivity. I know it's not always easy to change habits, but like I mention a lot on my channel or on these Thoughtful Thursdays, it's all about shifting your perspective, being intentional, being present with your thoughts, and then shifting your perspective and focusing on things that are positive and good. Maybe you just need a reset. Maybe you need to sit down and read positive quotes, or watch a TED Talk or a positive YouTube video that will change your mind frame to shift your focus from negative to positive. I would love to hear from you down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on this idea of focusing on not complaining and being more positive in life. Let me know if this is something that you struggle with, and how do you handle it? What do you do in your life to try to focus on the positive and to not complain? Do you have tips or tricks that you can share with the rest of us? Thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope that it encouraged you or inspired you in some way today. I appreciate you watching until the end of this video. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.